What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. That's right, Wednesday. We're almost at Spider-Man. I mean, look, at this point, you've seen my review. What's crazy about it is at the time of this taping, I haven't seen the damn thing. So we're going to do box office predictions of what we think is going to happen. And I got Matt Knost on the show, finally. We're going to talk about a bunch of shit, man. We'll talk about Spider-Man for sure. But Matt's got a great show that we're going to talk about as far as Settle the Score goes. I've been on it many times over. You guys should know about it. We're going to talk about that. He's going to tell me why I should be watching Succession like everybody else is. So much. And we're even getting into some Comedy Store talk because I don't even necessarily know if Matt and I have gone over how we met each other and how we've kind of stayed in contact. And it's just good to have him on the show. So we'll be bullshitting. We'll be doing all that. It's the big thing. And make sure, everybody, if you haven't done it already, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and do that. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification button. That's really important. And if you're not doing it already, you should be subscribed to this podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of it. You know the drill. All right, let's get into this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the big thing. Myself and Knost. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Once again, it is Wednesday. Kristian Harloff here. And look at this guy. I am joined by Matt Knost. What up, brother?
How are you?
Good to have you here.
It's a amazing production you have going here.
Just isn't it great? It's like a one-man band. I'm
yeah,
like that
literally,
guy.
that's what I was thinking. He's a fucking one-man band.
I'm like that guy with the drum.
Yeah, you got the cymbals on the knees. You got the bass drum on your back. You got some sort of brass instrument.
And honestly, though, what's funny is as stressful as it seems like it might be, it's the most calm and refreshed I've ever been doing this in this space, like ever.
You think it's just because you don't have the cacophony of 17 individuals running around trying to help produce a show? You mean this is less stressful than dealing, micromanaging? Not micromanage. That's you have to manage.
You have to manage.
You have to. There's no way something that large a production just exists on its own with everybody going willy-nilly. Although there was confusion at Spectacular because the way you relayed to me what you asked me to do, I was expecting to be front of stage.
I actually liked it better when you came out on stage.
Okay. Because the person they directed me to and was like, I'm pretty sure it's side of stage. And it's like, are you sure about that?
You were supposed to be, it was supposed to be on the floor.
Yeah.
It actually played better when you came out because it allowed the audience to see you more as opposed to if it would have been
just down, tucked in.
The audience at home would have seen it on camera.
Yeah.
But the audience there, I think it was more impactful. So at first I was like, oh, where is he? I thought you maybe they missed the cue or you missed the cue. And I was like, oh, shit, we missed Knost. And then you walked out. I was like, you know what? And then you guys improv the top 10 boom. It worked. It worked really well.
I told John, I guess it'll be on this week's top 10. What I wanted to do was, as I described it to him, you know the Ace Ventura 2 where he's comparing pain? I wanted to do that, but John's not like for Dan and just go back and forth.
Hilarious.
But I was like, that makes it about me, and I don't need to be out here for too much. This thing's already 5 hours long.
It was, but I thought it was nice what you guys did. It was a nice reunion between the two. Plus the fact that you and Dan, like you guys, when you left, there was never any beef in the story between you guys, so it didn't really make sense. It was the fact that you guys two and to see you out there. It was a nice moment for sure. It was nice to be out there and hear everything. John's been playing this thing since you guys came in 2015. And the fact that he finally, because you said it to me when I told you, like, oh, he's actually really stepping down this time.
Oh, I've already told him. I was like, I don't believe you, but that's fine.
Nobody does.
He's Sugar Ray.
Right.
He's going to retire and then unretire and then retire. And There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. You've been doing this for a long time. You need a break. I totally agree.
He definitely does. Plus, the guy's got 87 shows on his network. He needs to manage them.
Create some time.
He does.
Somewhere in there.
So yeah, man, let's get into. I want to because I want to talk about your show for a bit. So, but let's get into the Spider-Man thing because, like I said up top with them, I'm going to see it at the time of this taping. We're taping it on Monday.
Yeah,
I'm going to see it today at 4. So
okay,
have you been going back to the theaters since?
Tentatively, yes.
Yeah, same with me. I've gone to like 3 or 4. What'd you see?
I go after it's been out for a while.
Yeah, kind of
exactly. Yeah. So there's nobody left in the theater.
Like daytime show or something?
No, usually like a full week late, and then on a Tuesday night.
Right. Not a weekend. It's just
just to get it the fuck out the way.
15 people in the theater.
Spider-Man, I'm hoping to see this upcoming Monday night.
It ain't gonna be.
I know
it's gonna be packed.
I've been waiting. I haven't gone to a full theater, and I'm really hoping Monday's fine because otherwise we'll why? Then I should have seen it on Thursday if it's gonna be this fucking packed.
It's gonna be packed regardless. I think because this is the first big movie. Shit, man, since like Endgame, like that this big, like that kind of massive. What did you see in the theater though?
It doesn't have the same heat overall to me.
No, Not at all, because I mean that's a combination of what, 15 movies to the end.
I think it was 21 or 22,
something like that.
Something ridiculous.
Something ridiculous. So leading up to that, at that point, no, of course not. But I mean, but since we've been in this shit for 2 years, that you finally get a movie that people are that excited. It's the first event movie for in a while. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going in with no expectations. I didn't like Far From Home.
Okay. It's better for me when I see it.
It's better for you?
It gets better. Like when I first saw it, I thought it was good. Okay. And then I don't know, because we just did a rewatch series on this channel, and for some reason I enjoy it more. What didn't you like about it? Kind of cheesy?
Well, it's one of the worst theater experiences I've had in a while.
Why?
Dude, so we're at an hour 20, hour 30 into this movie, and two people walk in, and we're in the middle of a row in the middle of the theater. My wife and I. It's sold out.
Okay.
And they walk in, and then they stand in front of my wife, and they're like, "You're in our seat." And we're like, "It's 90 minutes into the movie. These are our seats." And they show my wife, like, "Here, these are our seats." And she's like, "What time are those? Does that movie start?" And they're like, "Oh, in like an hour from now." I was like, "Yeah, you need to get the fuck out." And then the person next to me, there was a girl, kept asking her boyfriend, I think it was this movie, I'm pretty sure it was. I had to string like 7 straight movies where bad after bad, I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And it was an ArcLight, no less. But it was like, all right, so that's Spider-Man? That's what I kept hearing next to me. Oh, so that's he's Peter Parker. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
We're like 75 movies into Spider-Man at this point.
Yes. Be one thing if it's fucking Doctor Strange. Right. Like, I get it. You have no working knowledge.
Eternals. Like, right.
But yeah, just throw a dart at almost any other fucking superhero movie. Right. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, you fucking know it.
You got bit by a spider, we figured it out.
Yes, or this one's somehow different. It's not the same thing.
Right.
But it's the same story.
Does this one do it? Does he actually have the webs in his body, or does he build?
Oh, so he's a boy. Yeah. Oh my God.
Is he in high school?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right. But everything that you just said is the whole reason. I've been having this conversation with everyone on this show for the last like 4 or 5 months. This is why I love the day and day screening of HBO Max. I know that it is absolutely done a thing where it's. I get the argument for how it's hurt some business, and we'll see what happens with Matrix when it comes out.
We'll see
for sure. But like Dune, I know Dune's supposed to be an in-theater experience. But I would rather watch Dune on that TV right there with a good sound system than to hear someone walk in and go, "Here's my seats." Is that a worm? It's like people.
It was the worst, but
yeah,
I think that's a much rarer occurrence, just given the number of movies I've been to.
Oh no, man! All the people, like, think about every experience that you like. I get lucky enough that I go to these press screenings, so people are somewhat like behaved.
Yeah,
I don't try to go to the main, because people aren't behaved in theaters, especially with phones and putting their feet up. And like, I hear Sebastian Maniscalco in my head everywhere I go. It's just like, what? Are you in your living room?
This guy?
You're wearing a fur coat in the middle of summer in a movie? It's like, yeah, it's like, that's what I'm. And the guy's got his feet up. You're bringing an Italian dinner. Get a bag of popcorn.
Yeah, I wish he cursed, because he'd be "you motherfucker" right there, but he just doesn't.
Right. Yeah. So it's.
But at the same time, like I've seen several movies as of late. It was a perfectly good viewing experience. Now, it could be because the theaters were at like a 20, 25, 30%. Like I waited forever to see Bond.
I liked Bond. By the way.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
It's not great, but it's good.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
I think it's his third best.
Agreed. For me, people go back and forth. Did you like the first one the best?
No, Skyfall's the best.
That's what same page. Same page. I had Skyfall first, then the first one.
Yeah, Casino Royale.
And then this one.
Most people have Casino Royale.
Yeah. I'm with you though. Skyfall to me is my favorite out of those.
I think it's stunning. It's beautiful.
One of my favorite Bond movies. Not just Craig.
It's my favorite Bond movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
But yeah, I would put it number 3, and then probably Spectre, and then Quantum of Solace.
Agreed. Yeah, same ranking.
Quantum of Solace is just boring as shit.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I don't know. Spectre could have been something. It's not.
They didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know what to do. It was like, but then too much.
Then to throw away Blofeld in this one, that's one of the things that killed me about it. It's
True.
Like,
yeah, it's like
Rami Malek took him out pretty easy. These guys were supposed to be like a massive, decades-long criminal organization.
Trying to show you how much more superior of a villain he is.
But why is he superior? Like, I don't know.
You know, they don't really set it up well enough, and I think, but it was a good send-off. I enjoyed watching it. It's fine. Now we need a new one, and whether or not they're going to do a new one in a while, I don't know. That movie still. What's crazy is I was telling everybody, I'm like, it made a lot of, like $600 million. It did really well.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But it didn't. It had to, that movie, because of the amount of money that it cost. That's what's
because
crazy.
they've been sitting on it for so long.
Yeah, marketing, but how much it costs overall. From what I saw, it needed to make $1 billion in order to make profit.
There's no. That's the
stupidest thing.
The chicanery that studios do. Where I remember Michael J. Fox, after like 20 years, was like, I still haven't made an extra penny on Back to the Future.
It's like, what?
Because they, on the books, wrote it down as like the marketing and everything cost way more than it ever did.
Well, whatever, but no, when this thing came out, I remember everyone saying how much it needed to make because of all the additional costs and all the different, and maybe pushing it back, the marketing, whatever it might have been. And I said, that can't be right. And then looking at some report that it was, it's like, but that's stupid. It's like, especially when that movie's coming out. It's like, who's going to go? $1 billion is not easy to do in general.
No.
It's like when Fast and Furious 8 or 7 did it, you're like, what the fuck?
That's setting it up to fail.
Right.
That's all it's doing. It's like, you need to make $1 billion. You're like, how many movies have done that? No. 7, 10?
There's something. Yeah, it's a feat when it happens. So setting it up to try to aim for it, like, let's aim for $300 million. That's good.
That's excellent.
Yes. You know, one of the things that really, I mean, I think one of the positives as far as box office goes is everything that they've learned through the pandemic. Hopefully. Smaller budgets now because people ain't going to see, like when you put it, like look at West Side Story, which was phenomenal.
Oh, it's $100 million though on a musical. That's tough.
It's tough. You spent there's no big stars. Like just Spielberg's name doesn't cut it anymore. And the movie made $100 million. I mean, the movie cost $100 million and made like 10 opening weekend or even less.
Yeah, I saw In the Heights did better.
Something like that. And I loved West Side Story, the new one. I loved it.
That's all I've heard, but I never see musicals. It's super rare.
But that's my point.
For $100 million, well, that's what you've been hearing for years now. But tons of different actors and directors and whatnot. Basically, I can get a $50 million movie produced, or I can get a $250 million movie produced. The adult drama that you have to make for $80 doesn't get made.
No, unless you put it on streaming. And you get a deal because that's where these things play now. So when Ridley Scott's going, no one's seen The Last Duel. No one's going to the theater to see Last Duel. I saw it digital, phenomenal, loved it. I'm not going to see the movie in the theater, unless it's a screening. I'm not. Why am I going to go for 2.5 hours to see that movie? Because also you're looking at budget, and it's always inflation is the age-old conversations. What are you going to spend if you have an event to go to? You're going to see Spider-Man. You have two movies you're going to spend $20 a ticket on or $15 a ticket on. Spider-Man or Last Duel. What are you going to do? If you're an 18-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, which is the majority of the audience, though, dude. Majority of the audience is young kids.
First off, you know just as well as I do, they're not going to open Last Duel if they see Spider-Man has that weekend.
No, I know, but I know it's true. But I mean, but he's blaming it on Marvel movies.
Yeah, of course he is.
Right.
Just like every person that's been in the industry for 50 years is going, these fucking kids, bro. And it's understandable. You're an old person. I get it.
Right.
Shit changes and you don't like it because you want cinema to be respected in a certain way. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Unfortunately, shit has changed.
It's like Robert Altman when movies going, it's fucking, what's this? There's a big dog now that's the #1 movie with the space kid. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Can you imagine the private conversations about most directors switching to digital?
Oh, shit.
And you saw some of it burble over in the public, but I'm sure there was a whole community of like, look at these assholes.
Well, Scorsese, the whole thing. I mean, Hugo was pretty much a big FU to digital. It was all about film and everything, the digital film, the preservation of it.
I mean, that is his choice. That is his right.
Yeah, and Scorsese's a guy though that did the right thing, and not the right thing, but did the smart thing. With Irishman, right? Because Irishman, like you saw the one, was it Silence? Is that the one with
yeah, with Liam Neeson and Garfield?
Adam Driver and Garfield. Beautiful movie, gorgeous movie. I actually saw that movie in the theater. There was 2 people there on opening night.
Yeah,
nobody went to see it. Beautiful movie, but after that movie got made, nobody wanted to make Irishman because like nobody's seeing Scorsese movies in the theater anymore. This is right in the wave of like Netflix and everybody getting these movies. Netflix. He goes to makes this streaming movie. It's nominated for Oscars. It does. This is what people need. This is where. Remember, people said you can't get movies made now. You can't. They're not going to watch in these smaller movies. Now there's a platform for people to see movies, not just in these little independent theaters, and then it goes to VHS or some DVD somewhere. You can find it anywhere. But there's so much shit though to watch now. It's incredible.
Yeah. That's the other thing. There's just a ridiculous preponderance of content that to cut through the chatter and make yours a topic of conversation is really difficult to do. So the big spectacle films have a better chance of doing that because, like, oh my God, did you see such and such? Whether it was great or abysmal,
right?
It's gonna get traction. If it's media like middle of the road, it'll still spark a little bit of attraction. Whereas something like Last Duel needs to be awesome.
It needs to be so good. It needs to be in the. It's not even in the conversation right now with awards. I thought it was it's a really good movie. But did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Okay,
that's on my list of if we were in a pandemic, I would have saw it opening weekend.
Right,
I would have.
What did you see though? Let me get. You saw Ghostbusters, right?
I did not.
You didn't see Ghostbusters.
I heard middling things, and I was like, I'll wait till it comes. It stays out for a little while. That's a streaming. I can wait for that on streaming.
Yeah, I dug it because I think that it's definitely, as being a dad, I think later on I'm gonna watch that. I want to watch it with my oldest, and it's
already a fan of Ghostbusters.
Not necessarily, but I think the premise is she has like books and stuff. She's never even seen the original yet, so I'm gonna show her. I'm gonna show her the original before I show her this one. But I think she's gonna like this one more because this one's geared towards families and it's geared towards kids. Like I think that when the original came out in '84, it's still, even though there's like kind of families can watch it, it had that Saturday Night, like when Saturday Night Live was good and had an edgy kind of feel to it.
Okay,
you know, with like the Belushi era.
Yeah, sure. I think that era is overrated, but go right ahead.
Fair enough, but you can't. It still had that edge though. It had an edge back then. Do you like it now?
Ghostbusters, yeah. No, I've always
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. I don't watch it.
Yeah, right.
I see clips on Twitter and stuff every once again, but I don't watch it.
Yeah, it hasn't been good in a long time. But
that's something that's been said about Saturday Night is Dead. For years. Been a headline since the late 80s.
True.
Or actually probably early 80s when they changed the cast.
True. Yeah, and then it came back. But, it comes back in its waves. But Ghostbusters, I feel that you had that Bill Murray, the Harold Ramis era, that era of comedy was different than what this is, for sure. There's not that edge.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Different sensibility. Different comedic minds working on it.
True. I'm trying to think what it was if I was going to guess what you saw. House of Gucci?
I have not.
No, what did you see?
Did you like Shang-Chi?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was good, not great. I also saw it too late.
Okay.
I thought it was good.
I saw it after it had been out for a little while.
Yeah, did you feel the same way? Just thought it was good, not great? Or you didn't like it at all?
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But fucking dragons.
Oh, they took you out of it?
That and then like the end of WandaVision, which is like, okay, I realize she's called Scarlet Witch, but we're going full Wiccan.
Yeah, that Scarlet Witch I liked. Like, that would
until the last episode and a half, and the full reveal on Catherine Hahn, who I thought was amazing.
Yeah,
and I was really into the show, and then I was like, all right, so witches, really, like real witches?
Yeah.
So does that mean okay?
Took you out of it.
I don't know. I don't know why that fantasy is any different than any other fantasy.
Some things you get, some things you don't. Yeah,
or whatever.
What about Loki?
Loved it.
Yeah, loved it. To me, I like the parallel universe and all
that to me fits right in with everything else with Marvel. Once you bring in the Doctor Strange multi-dimensional,
right?
Okay, I know where we're going, and then just like, and we got witches and dragons.
It really is at this point when the werewolves are coming, the werewolls and they are because
vampires are coming
with blades. So it's like they got to do everything at this point because they've done so much. But it actually goes back to the point that this. Did you see Eternals?
No, I heard that was so boring.
I loved Eternals.
Oh my God, you're the first person that I've heard remotely say anything nice about it.
And Roka hated it, but
I know 50 people.
I loved it.
That hated it.
I loved it. I thought it was because of everything you're just saying. Like to me, I like the science fiction stuff way more than
the fantasy.
I like fantasy, but I should say more. A lot of the Marvel stuff, which I still watch and enjoy, it starts to feel a little more formulaic to me. Right, like
of course it is.
Shang-Chi, as much as I thought it was a good movie, a lot of the familiar beats that we've seen a million times over.
Yeah.
There was something about Eternals that it seemed, and then I saw Dune a little while later. It's definitely more deep. There's more to it. Like as far as boring, I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of depth for me, and the fact that they did that for 2:45, I could see you either really loving it or thinking it's the worst movie of all time.
What all I've heard is it is eternal. It is dull until the very end, and there's not enough action to wrap up the dullness leading up to. And I'm like,
wow, I didn't feel that way at all. I'm looking.
Maybe not. I get sucked into movies like that. Like I love Paul Thomas Anderson. He is one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that, Terrence Malick, I don't understand.
No, Terrence Malick, I can't. I can understand that what I'm looking at is beautiful, but I get
exactly.
But I get bored.
Yeah, it's like okay.
I wasn't bored like that with this movie.
Okay,
yeah, it's.
I've heard that from so many different people.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw. Look, I talked to a bunch of people that didn't like it, and the critic score wasn't that great. I was myself, Coy, and a few other people. But the audience, when I put the review out, I was expecting everyone to go, nah, this one sucks. The audience seemed to really enjoy it. But it seemed a lot of the critics, for some reason or another, just didn't land with them.
Yeah, who knows?
So Spider-Man, though, what do you think? So because of the pandemic and where we are, this movie, does it crack 100 million, do you think? Opening weekend?
Well, aren't they saying the pre-sales are right now are the best? I don't know. They're hyping it.
Since I think Infinity War.
Okay. Which seems believable.
Believable, yeah.
Because I know quite a few people that this is their first. I'm not missing this opening weekend.
I don't want to see it in theater.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Where they've been with me by and large of like, I can wait.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Is that what its projection is right now? Is 100?
I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. If I was to guess, I'm going to say this movie because what it used to be is 200 could be a massive weekend. 220. Those days, at least for now, are gone.
Yeah, currently.
I'm going to say this movie, which is a big opening weekend number. I think it makes $117 million for the opening weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to those types of numbers because they just haven't resonated for so long.
Yeah.
The numbers are always abysmal.
They're all over the place. It could make 85.
Tenet was the last one. I'm like, I'm curious to see what this does. And then when that one flamed out, I'm like, okay, all right. Well, that's what it's going to be for a while.
That was stupid, though, to put it out at the time.
That was just ego-driven.
Totally ego-driven. There's no reason to put that out at the time.
We both love Nolan.
Mm-hmm,
and you have an ego for a right. There's nothing, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. It's like James Cameron. You've earned it.
Has he, though?
Cameron hasn't earned it?
Has he, though?
Dude. Are you kidding me? Like
for how well his movies do at the box office, yes,
I'm talking about.
undoubtedly.
I'm talking. If you're a business, if you're a business, and James Cameron tells you he wants to make a movie, his track record proves it.
It somehow that thing's going to turn out $1 billion. I agree with you.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree. I just do any of those films outside of his early work still resonate with you?
Again, I understand every criticism with Avatar where it's you've seen it a million times over, that you see, whether it's Pocahontas or Fern Gully.
It is.
Dances with Wolves, 100%. For some reason, though, for that movie to me, especially, I think it was the theater experience that really resonated with me when I saw it, because I think the James Horner score is one of the best scores like ever. It's a great one of Horner's best, underrated. And I do still think it plays. I haven't watched it in probably like five years.
I haven't seen it since the theater.
Did you hate it when you saw it in the theater?
No, I thought it was mesmerizing.
Okay, yeah.
And I saw it in 3D, and everybody said you need to see it in 3D,
Great
and I'm
3D.
glad I did.
It was good 3D.
It was good 3D.
Yeah.
Because then I saw not too long after that, I think, was Tron.
Oh, okay. Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy, and the 3D was jarring in a few scenes. I could not make heads or tails of what the hell was going on the screen.
Yeah, there was that whole phase, that whole craze that everyone did with 3D.
Just everything became just and guess what? 3D will eventually be back, but this time they're going to try and roll out 4D with the scents and smells.
It's going to be fucking shit. Where is it? The virtual reality. It's how you're going to start doing.
Yeah, there could be VR.
Yeah.
But I think even if that was ready to roll out right now because of the pandemic and whatnot, there's no way they're going to trust it.
Not right
Enough
now.
people are going to trust
Put
to
it on,
wear.
Put it on somebody else.
Oh,
did
you clean it?
Yeah, right. Why does this smell like salami? Who knows? That's the question that's going to come on. But this thing stinks.
Of all the cured meats, too.
Speaking of meats, Matt Knost, I got to tell you. Have you tried Butcher Box? Have you tried Butcher Box?
I have not,
dude. You need to, especially because you're a grill guy, right? Do you do some grilling?
I do some grilling, yes,
dude. This is it. Honestly, this is heaven sent because they have the best meats, and right now, when it comes to meat, that it's going to be the centerpiece of everybody's holiday meals. Quality matters, and when you invest in high quality meat from Butcher Box, the benefits go way beyond a great tasting meal. This is what Butcher Box does. They source their meat from partners with the highest standards for quality. No more searching the grocery store for 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, wild-caught seafood, and more. Their sourcing decisions are made holistically, keeping the farmer, the planet, the animal, and your family in mind. They send these steaks, the New York strip steaks. You can choose the box, like whether it's ground turkey, chicken, salmon. We did the whole, we did turkey burgers the other day. We did, my wife made these chicken tenders because my wife is so, where she goes, the grocery store, got to check everything. Everything's got to be fresh. But she has never wanted to go away from the store. We started getting this stuff. Now she doesn't want to go back. It's the best. I'm telling you, you should give it
perfect.
You should give it a shot. For me, I'm doing the New York strip for the holiday. We're doing a pot roast. We're doing a bunch of different things. So the family loves it. The kids love it. my favorite thing is that you can actually, besides just the cost of it and the quality, it's very convenient. You can choose your own box. It's great. So what happens is every month, ButcherBox ships a curated selection of high-quality meat right to your home, free shipping for the continental U.S. There's no antibiotics or added hormones. Each box, it contains 8 to 14 pounds of meat. Depending on the box that you choose, that is enough for 24 individual meals. It's packed fresh and shipped frozen for convenience, so you can save time on your next grocery store trip. What I do is I customize it, whether because I'm more so in the turkey and the chicken and the salmon, but they have a lot of different options too. Here's what you get right now. The Holiday Butcher Box is giving new members 1 pack of bacon for free in every box, plus $20 off each box for the first 5 months of your membership. That is free bacon for life and up to $100 off. Sign up at butcherbox.com/bigthing, butcherbox.com/bigthing. Yeah, I didn't know about this company until they reached out recently, and when we got it, it was like Christmas. We're like diving into it.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic. I bought it for my dad for Christmas just to get him a.
We used a different service for the last time, but perhaps next time I'll check out ButcherBox.
You should check it out. Let's talk about the show, dude. So Settle the Score. You've been doing it.
Which, by the way, that was impressive.
Which one?
Just that. I don't know if that was a planned segue or an unintentional coincidence, and you just went, perfect. I just set myself up and I didn't even know it.
100%.
Either way, it was, once again, one-man band.
Thank you.
So I didn't see the harmonica, and then boom, you just popped down a harmonica from like a browser of a hat I wasn't paying attention to.
That's the end of the show. That's the end of the show.
That's it?
Yeah. That's
I can't wait, man.
Gonna happen.
This is really impressive.
I appreciate it.
Just flowing. Audience doesn't even realize it because that's how smooth and good you are. Just like, boom, this guy's got it. He's got moves.
That's the moves. So you got moves, though. You've been doing the show now, what, about a little over a year and a half?
A little over a year. Well, a year and 3 months, I guess, or some jazz like that.
Yeah. So how did you decide? Because the idea of the show is really fun. It's so if you guys don't know what the show is, it's called Settle the Score. Matt and Andy Merriweather, who I like very much, very nice guy. He's in the UK.
The real talent on the show.
He really is good, and he's such a nice kid.
You can laugh at that. We both understand.
He's
the real talent.
Without him, you're screwed. Yeah.
Yes.
very, very much so. But he's a sweetheart of a kid. I really like him a lot. But the show, you have 2 people on, and Matt is hosting the show, and just give a little bit of breakdown more so about what the show is.
I mean, basically, you've been on now
3 or 4 times. Yeah.
4 times, I think.
Yeah. So let's see, Ellis, Freddie, Darina, and
Riley.
It was Riley.
Yeah. So there's your 4.
Right.
And you can find all those on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/Matt Knost. There you go.
Okay.
There's my seamless segue. You see that?
It's good.
Thank you.
I liked it.
So yeah, it's in essence, it's Name That Tune for movie music.
Right.
So we set it up and we kind of curate a list of 15 songs that I think that I'm the one that does the list, and I try and gear it towards, all right, I know you like these types of movies, and then what I ideally want is the other person that you're playing that week, you know them.
Yeah.
So it's more fun it could get combative, like it did with you and Riley and you and Freddie a little bit.
Right.
And it's more fun that way if they know each other, because then they're more apt to talk shit amongst themselves and get into the playfulness of it. And then, so we get the 15 songs, we write out clues for all of them. And then there's 3 rounds. They all have slight variations of what they are.
Yeah.
But I give a clue, and then Andy starts playing, and you guess the movie that it's from.
Yeah.
What was great, though, so for those, if you haven't seen it and you want to go back and watch, the first time Kristian's on, you're not paying attention to any of the clues, and you got upset that one of the songs had been used in more than one movie, and it was the only one, I think, on the show.
I think that was recent. I think that was a recent one.
Okay. And you were like, well, I don't pay attention to the clues. I'm like, the clue tells you what movie we're talking about in case you need some guidance.
I was challenging.
Yeah, in essence, and be like, well, tough shit. This isn't your show.
100%.
Yeah, so, but it's just like the clues are there to help. Yes. I want you to get the answer right. I'm not trying to make you look like an asshole.
No, it does. You know what it reminds me of? Actually, it does remind me of like kind of the feel and tone of when like the SCHMOEDOWN started in like 2014, 2015 when we did it on Schmoes Know, and it was just kind of it's a bunch of friends just playing trivia and having some fun. That's it, and you feel that vibe because, like you said, with Freddie was on. It was good to be on with Freddie because Freddie was one of my favorite people.
He's been one of my best friends for a long time.
Yeah, because we came up together at the store, so reuniting.
I've had him. I've had Rick on.
Rick's the best.
I know, he's the best. He's the funniest dude I know.
Ingram is really the funniest.
He's the funniest dude I know.
Ever, yeah.
It's like not even a question in my head. I've met a lot of funny people.
He's the funniest person.
He's the funniest person I know.
100%. Yeah, I'm with you.
And then after that, I'd say maybe Diaz, just in shooting the shit talking.
Yeah.
But Rick still.
It's just something he's got. Yeah. That, like, I remember Let's talk about your show first. I want to go back. We'll go talk comedy.
Let's say we had those types of interviews. So we had comics on. We've had people like yourself that review films and whatnot. We've had actors on. We had voice actors. Like we had the voice of Crash Bandicoot versus Bumblebee Man.
Oh, that's fun.
They both do. I know Bumblebee Man. He started out as a comic. You may have known him, Eric Lopez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's gone on now. He's been on everything.
Okay.
Star Wars, Spider-Man. He does a voice, main voice on Young Justice.
Yeah.
10 other things.
That's fun.
Yeah, and then him and Scott White, he was in Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
That's a fun episode because they know each other, and I know Eric. I've known Eric for years, and just like, hey, to get, have a little banter back and forth.
Right.
But yeah, so I give a clue, and then you're guessing the movie itself, and then we do, first round is just like, we're going to play the song until you get it. Yeah. Next round is we're cutting it down to 5-second snippets, and they're recognizable.
Yeah.
So if you don't know it, then you should know it.
Right. I like the idea of it too. That there's parts like, and I know when you get towards the end of it, it's more so of like how, and when Andy plays it, you try to get it right away, and if you can't get it right away, you throw it over. You can be a dick and throw it over to someone else. Whoever you're playing against, you can throw it over to them, and then it's just like it's just fun. The show's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. I worked with Andy on. We did a jingle for a show that we did on Top 10.
Okay.
And he had messaged, I met him in Chicago.
Okay.
And he came out to
watch.
Yeah, our show and yours.
Okay.
He's a fan of yours and is an avid SCHMOEDOWN watcher.
Yeah.
So we worked together just on this jingle. We did a play on Thank You for Being a Friend.
Okay.
And it was great.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. It just this working rapport back and forth where I sent him some lyrics and then he put it to music and then we just did slight tweaks and then he altered like one line that I think saved the whole thing because I couldn't get this one stanza.
Yeah, he just has that musical brain.
Yeah, it was just like, what about this to smooth out this wording? And I was like, perfect. And it was done. And it was like, that was a lot of fun. I like collaborating with people where it's a give and take.
Yeah.
Like he introduced me to a graphic designer that did the logo, but send in suggestions. He comes back and then he has ideas of his own. It's really easy to work with.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do it.
Good partnership.
Yeah. But happy to give somebody else the autonomy of, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And, we'll collaborate together and we'll make something pretty fucking cool.
Isn't that fun though when you have because you know what your strengths are, you obviously know what his strengths are, and be able to balance it out and make it. That's when the shows really work.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
if everybody understands, and I'm not going to tell you how to do that because you know better than I do.
Is it tough though? Because he's in the UK, right?
Yeah, he's just outside of London.
Yeah, it's got to be tough for him because he's probably got to do shows at like 3 a.m. sometimes.
We don't schedule him that late, but lately he preferred to be later in the night because he's a night owl.
Okay, well then that's
and
easier.
His wife is asleep, so it's just like perfect. So we do it at.
She hasn't seen him in 6 years because he's been up on your show.
Trust me, they see quite a bit of each other. I hear a lot of stories about the two of them. She popped in. I don't know why she was awake at midnight. She's like my wife. She goes to bed super early. But yeah, there are times where it's just like, hey, the window you're asking for, it's going to be. But Andy's more than happy to go. It's 2 a.m. That's fine.
Right.
I'll drink some coffee. Like you're an animal.
He does it. It's really he's super talented. It's the show. If once again, guys, I want to put the link in the description for you to check it out. But it's Settle the Score, which is a great name. Did you come up with a name for the show?
No, that was Andy.
Did he really?
Yep.
That's because you're really good with that type of stuff. So I would assume that was you.
That's what. Yeah. This is the first time ever too. The mascot. Usually I have an idea. I'm really good with this and then visualizing something for it.
Yeah, that's usually what your strength is.
Yeah, but on that one, I was like, I sent him 5 ideas and it's like, I hate all 5 of these and these are the best of the 50 that I thought of. And I was like, I am struggling on this one.
About the name of the show?
No, about the identity of what we were going to use for a mascot for a logo type of thing. Okay. The name, we were just rifling text back and forth.
Yeah.
I think we had like 5 or 6 that we really liked, but I thought his popped the most. And there have been other Settle the Scores podcasts too. There's a soccer one. There's a...
Right, but this is different. It's Settle the Score.
Yeah. No, we're the only one remotely like this that I've ever found on YouTube.
Yeah,
any podcast form.
Because Settle the Score for like soccer or whatever, it's like, what is that? I guess the score between the game
the
itself,
2 teams and the game.
But
it works on a couple of
but the score itself for the music alone, even that's when I first thought, oh, good, this is all about scores. It's not all about scores. You got to be good at soundtracks too, which is I get it, and that's. But
you can't do
the whole thing as the scores.
Well, the problem is it will get too obscure too quickly.
Yeah, it's and you got to have that's where I got tied up on without listening. And that's what the benefit of having those clues are.
Oh, we're getting excuses a year later.
No. I'm agreeing with you. That's as far as the clues go, because in my head when I hear I know different songs from movies that have been in 5 different movies. But if you don't have those clues in them, then
also too, I do my best, my very best, to not choose a song, no matter how much it is associated with this one, if it has a rough association with anything else.
Right.
Unless we're specifically going to get like a big fat arrow with the clue to that movie.
Right.
I steer clear because it's just not fair.
Yeah, right. And it just depends on how memorable it is. Like if you're gonna yeah, for sure.
If it is iconically known for this one specifically, I think you can get away with it, but it gets difficult, man. We went 51 weeks without repeating a song.
Wow. I
think we might have accidentally repeated one.
Yeah.
So searching those last like 3 months for more and more songs that you're going to know from a movie that I think you've seen, it took hours.
There's a lot of It's funny because you forget how much like prep in general goes into shows, but I can imagine how much prep goes into that show.
After a while, like you get through a lot of the best. I mean, we have 2 Google Docs of just one is all pop songs from movies and one is all scores. And on some level, you think that they're gettable, but like the pop songs is 22 pages.
Shit, that's fucking crazy. Yeah,
and that's I still feel like we're missing. I just added like 4 or 5 new songs for next week's show.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like you're still searching for.
Yeah, it's also tough because there's times where you don't know your guess who you're going to have on and how is this like. I remember you had Apollo 13 on there, which I don't even think, and I listen to that score all the time, and I was so mad at myself that I missed it. But that's not a score that everybody can get.
No, but it's a movie everybody's seen, so hopefully the clue points to enough of
how you can get.
If this score isn't maybe going to get you there all the way, then the clue should.
That's the thing is I play when I play on your show, I play to try to get it through my memory of how I remember.
And you're good at it. That's what was such a kick in the ass after you're like, I don't pay attention to the clues. And it's like, you're already fucking good at the game, man.
Well, that's the problem.
If you pay attention to the clues, you probably crush all the time.
I'm not good at the clues, so I'm never going to be good at the clues.
I think that's where you're bogus. That's where you're just selling yourself short because you fucking forgot about it the first time and a half you played. Maybe. And now you're like, well, that's my thing.
That's my thing.
Unconsciously, I don't want to
try to win it now. But now, what I've also having more fun with is playing the strategy of the game itself.
Yeah, that's my other thing is I don't want to have like every week be the same people, but if they get the gist of the game, then there's some gamesmanship, and you can see it as the wheels twist. Like we have a tweak on round 1, so after you get the question right, then there's a bonus question, which I call those questions, do you want to be a dick or not?
Right.
Because you can cut the other person out, but if you get it wrong, you lose points.
But I like the end because I beat Ellis in the last one.
Okay.
And I did it because I knew this. We're getting more scores. That's not his strength.
Okay.
And I knew that I'm like, I'm passing. I'm going to go.
Oh yeah, make him settle the score in the last. Yeah, the last round is the wagering round, that's where the real gamesmanship comes in.
Yep.
And you can't. The worst is when you see somebody figure out by question 3 what they should have done in question 1 the first time playing, no matter how much I try and explain beforehand.
Yep.
Hey, just think of it like this, and then if your score's down by this, you want to try and do these types of things. Like pay attention to the other person. If they don't look like they know it and you think you might,
that's exactly
start with a higher note because then they'll come in at like 25 and then you go down to 1 or 0.
Yeah, that's
just I know it.
That's ultimately what I did, and I think the way I was able to win that last one. But check out the show, guys. It is Settle the Score. Do you guys do? Is it podcasts also, or is
it's all across any format by and large. I think Twitch is the only thing we're not technically on
right now. That'll change, I'm sure, eventually.
Does Streamlab go to Twitch?
Yeah.
Okay, well then guess what? We might be on Twitch in the very near future because that takes little to no effort to set up.
No, it goes right to Twitch as well. So check that show out. It's Matt Knost and Andy, and it's a really, really fun show. I enjoy doing it. You guys should check it out. But before we move on over, because I want to talk to Matt about a lot of the Comedy Store stuff and how we kind of met and just I don't know if he's been doing comedy lately. I want to find that as also, but I do also want to talk to you guys, and I haven't talked to you guys about it today. And let's talk about QUIP. It's another thing. Do you do the QUIP?
I do not do the QUIP.
Oh, man, you're learning a lot here today. I'll tell you.
I've heard both.
QUIP's really good, and I'll tell you about QUIP. If you guys are already using QUIP and you already are putting your mouth in tip-top shape, earn some rewards now. That's the way to do it. You got to upgrade your QUIP to a new smart motor, and this is what you do. You can track and improve your brushing with the free QUIP app. You earn rewards, whether it's a free refill, products, Target gift cards, and much more. Now, beyond just the brush, Quip has a whole line of stocking stuffers for everyone on your list. There are 2 ways to floss. There's the floss string that expands to clean. There's the reusable floss pick that replaces over 180 disposable picks with every refill. They have refillable gum that is sugar-free, has long-lasting mint flavor, and it comes with a dispenser. There's a refillable mouthwash that's a 4 times concentrate, plus good for you, and it's good for the planet. In addition to the brush heads, Quip also delivers fresh floss, toothpaste, mouthwash, and the gum refills every 3 months from $5, and the shipping is free. So you can save money and skip the hustle and bustle of shopping in-store during the holidays and into the new year. It's a great gift. So even more good news is that Quip is running their best deal of the year, which means that you're not going to be paying through the teeth when you gift better oral health this year. So this is what you do. You go to getquip.com/bigthing right now on top of their holiday savings, and you're going to get your first refill free. That's your first refill free, and up to 40% off of bundles at getquip.com/bigthing. GETQUIP.com/bigthing. That's Quip, the Good Habits Company. Yeah, you got to try that Quip. I got it.
Big fan, are you?
I am. I got it for the daughter. For as she's getting older, she want to get the better brushing, and it's got the timer. It's great. She's supposed to brush your teeth. They tell you 2 minutes, and people, I'm done. So
that's what you did as a kid.
Everybody did that as a kid.
I mean,
but I didn't have Quip. See, now I do.
Now you do.
Now I do.
Now hopefully she has better dental health overall. Do you have bad chompers? Is that what it is?
No, I don't. I'm good, but it's but I wish I had Quip when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things you always hear from old people. Take care of your teeth.
Yeah, until it's too late.
Yeah, because once you lose them, it's just not the same.
Nope.
So take care of your teeth. All right.
It's terrible. I want to talk to you about Comedy Store stuff because I don't know if we've ever talked about it on air. I don't think we have.
I don't think so.
Maybe because I
think this is only the second time I ever sat down with you
on air
like this. Yeah, well, where it's just the two of us. Never. It's never happened.
That's because you were on SCHMOEDOWN a bunch of times.
Live showing up with everybody. Yeah, I did the SCHMOEDOWN like 3 times.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that.
But I don't know. It probably didn't really have
no, usually it's you and Mark, and then depending on the situation, like I did a New Year's one or something. No, Oscars one.
Right, and that was like the whole.
There's like 20 people in the room. It's the first time I met Tom.
Okay, so that must you always remember the first time.
Well, I remember because he had
mask on.
A little factoid about Raiders, which I just read the week previous.
Oh, okay.
And he said it, and everybody in the room was like, "Okay, Tom," because they just didn't trust his movie knowledge. Yeah. And I looked at him and was like, "No, he's right. He's right." And he looked at me and was like, "Fuck yeah, thank you."
There he is.
But I remember at that time, I don't know how steeped he is in movies to this day, but at that time, I don't know. He liked what he liked, but he wasn't venturing out.
We did a bit where he would come in and he would tell stories about facts on movies, and he would give a bunch of bullshit, but there was a bunch of stuff in there that was true.
Okay.
And that was probably one of them. Whatever the little factoid was. What was the factoid? Do you remember?
It was the fact that in some of the, I guess they'd be hieroglyphics in Raiders.
Yeah.
You can see C-3PO and R2-D2.
You can.
Yeah,
I saw that recently. Yeah. That's very true. So we never talked about it. So I remember I'm pretty sure because did you live in San Diego for a while in that area in La Jolla?
Yeah, that's where I met you.
That's definitely where I met you. I just didn't know if you were. I know that you were working there and you were there all the time. I just wasn't sure if you were living there.
Oh yeah, no, I lived in Pacific Beach, which is 3 miles south.
So because you went. So when did you first move out to California?
I moved out in 2003, and then I started doing open mics there in 2005. So I did my first one, and I bombed so bad that I was like, you know what, I'm going to work on my stuff.
Yeah.
And I took months off before I went back.
Before you went up.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to go there and not LA?
I don't know, because I visited San Diego, and I was like, this place is amazing.
It's funny. That's where when I in New York, it was San Diego that made me want to come to California in general when I was in the 7th grade.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, it was like a different planet. And I was like, it's great. But I knew I had to get here. So it's curious because La Jolla was really well known in the comedy circuit. So was that the place that you wanted to get in on?
No, I had no aspiration to I just wanted to move to San Diego.
Oh, okay. And you just happened to fall into it.
Well, I'd been there for 6 months or something, and I hadn't really met any friends or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of people, I had an inkling of, I'd like to try that. I think I might be okay at it.
Right.
And after like 6 months of just not meeting, I met a bunch of, I don't know, guys I just didn't enjoy hanging out with. And it got to the point of like, Am I really so needing of company? I want to hang out with these two assholes.
100%.
Yeah, I did that a couple of times and like, nah, I don't really like you guys.
Right.
They were fine, like type of thing, but I don't want to spend long term with you. And then went to the store and then, I don't know, just found a collection of misfits. Eventually, you do the open mic for long enough and you do befriend a couple people. Sure. And then from there, it kind of grows. So it was kind of to build friends and then started doing comedy.
Yeah, because I remember because Ellis I think introduced us. I was doing the club that weekend.
And, you came down to do the club. I worked at the store in La Jolla.
Yeah,
I was a door guy. I mean, I worked there for free for.
Did you really?
For months.
Is that legal?
No, not even remotely.
Right,
but it was the fast track if you want to get a job here.
Totally.
So I would show up to do shows, and I'd help clean tables Fridays and Saturday nights.
And you get up, and they give you spots in order to do it. No, they wouldn't even give you spots?
No.
See,
I'd get an occasional like extra Wednesday spot or something.
Right. So nothing. Yeah.
But that was rare. It's like, I'm getting 1 or 2 of those a month, and I have to show up every weekend.
And it's different in La Jolla, too, from the way that they run the shows as opposed to the Hollywood.
Yeah, now it's changed even more. But at least back in the day, once you got to a certain point, you'd have Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right.
And then if you worked at the club, you could also open a show on Friday or Saturday. Sometimes you could do all 4.
Well, how long were you in La Jolla for? Because I met you. I can tell you the year was 2007 is when I met you.
Okay, I couldn't tell you the year, but I know we met in La Jolla.
It was 2007 because I did La Jolla a handful of times in like 2000. Well, you know what? When did you start working there?
I think I got a job in 2005.
So maybe it was even before that because I don't know because I did a show. I'll never forget my favorite show that I ever did there was one like Skippy Simon, myself, and James Painter.
I never saw that show.
Oh, man.
That's a weird fucking show.
What a weird fucking show.
That's a weird. So is Skippy closing that show?
No, Skippy was. I was doing. It wasn't. It was. Who was it? I was doing the middle spot.
Okay.
And Skippy was doing the first. I can't remember who the headliner
Painter was fucking. Oh
no. He came in and did like
a guest set.
They gave him like guest.
Okay.
They didn't
Still, that's a fucking weird show. Don came down one time and La Jolla didn't get it.
They did not get James Painter and all because not only did they not get James Painter, it wasn't the James Painter like his normal set. He was doing it. You remember Blue Iris, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he did a bit called Blue Painter. And
which is inside baseball. It's a joke inside of a joke inside of a joke.
It crushed at the store in Hollywood.
Of course it did.
Of course, but not in La Jolla. So he goes and he dresses up in a dress. And one of his jokes is, the other day I was having sex with my boyfriend, and he said, "Blue, your pussy smells terrible." And I said, "That's not my pussy. That's this dumpster we're fucking in." He said, "But Blue, we're not fucking in a dumpster." "Oh yeah, well it's definitely my pussy then." Dude, that joke alone at the store, I remember having it. Like it was packed in the OR. I never heard. I was sitting next to Steve Simone, Caparulo. I never heard such loud laughter for so long. And then we go to La Jolla, and I remember driving in the car with those two, and he's like, "I'm doing Blue Painter," and I'm going, "I don't know if it's gonna play in La Jolla, man." It bombed. Like
of course,
Pearl Harbor. It was brutal.
That is one thing.
Brutal.
Like super blue. It was rare when comics would come down and you knew that was their MO.
Yeah.
And then for them to succeed, which they could.
Yeah.
It's an easy room. So long as you're confident, it's one of the funnest rooms you're going to play, hands down.
Yeah, they're just there to have fun.
They live in San Diego.
Yeah, they're not. It's
everybody assumes they live in La Jolla. They don't.
No.
About 5% of.
It's not this.
No.
And it's not like we have 5,000 other things we could be doing right now.
It's
the night out from them for probably like
it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what age range. You live in San Diego. You're pretty laid back. It's pretty easygoing by and large.
I loved doing that room. It was always fun.
It was so spoiled. Yeah. Not even funny. I knew it at the time because you'd go and do anywhere else and be like, this isn't like La Jolla.
No. As I said, that was the beauty of the OR is that the OR is like the stinky gym that I was doing the OR at like 1 a.m.
Me too.
And then, so doing the OR at like 1 a.m. and then driving out to La Jolla for a weekend. It's like, it was like going
I either do first or second spot or I do the third from last, second from last. And Don always has the last. Those are the only spots that I ever get in the OR, which is fine. I don't have credits. I don't have anything else to stack up next to. Totally get it.
I used to like doing those spots though, because I would have, because
yes and no.
So when Tommy was there, I would open. I would do the 9.
Sure.
And then I would have there was a time like from like during 2003, 2007. What he would always do to me, which I wasn't going to complain about because it was right in the middle of the show. He was put me up like after Rogan did like an hour, right? It's like
somebody's got to be the sacrificial lamb.
It's a fucking tough spot, but it was a good. But it's again, it's like it's going into the matrix and learning how to fucking dodge, and doing all that stuff.
The OR gives you that opportunity. I remember one time. So Ross showed up, Jeff Ross, and he was like, "Hey, can I go up?" And Tommy's like, "You can go up next." And I was supposed to go up next, and I'm like, "Fair enough." It's one of the times I also didn't have a spot third from the end under Tommy's regime. It's like sixth from the end. It was like, okay, there's actually a crowd here.
Such a regime. So true.
Full on. He made me hate comedy.
Wow.
It's not just that.
Not just that. You shouldn't hate it. You should love it.
So Ross goes on, and then he was like, you know what? I'm going to bring my friend John up here. And the crowd doesn't know it, and they bring John Mayer on stage.
Oh, God.
And it was when John Mayer was doing comedy for like that 6-month, 8-month period. And, the thing is, he knows the mathematics.
Yeah.
Bump, bump, bump.
Yeah.
Bump, bump, bump.
Right.
So it's a serviceable job. For a guy that doesn't do comedy, it's like, you wrote some jokes, man. I will give you that. But the crowd fucking loved it, and I had to follow that. I got a standing O, actually, after that one.
Oh, that's great.
Because I just talked about for 15 minutes how depressing it must be for them to have gone from Jeff Ross and John Mayer to a dude that looks like their accountant. And then I just made some fun of myself for 15 minutes, and I got off. People were like, that was amazing.
That's fun.
The best part was I walk off, Tommy was like, well, if you can do that, I should start giving you better spots.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to put me on dead last for the next 3 months.
That's a nice guy.
Yeah. I brought up Don for 3 months straight, and I was like, oh, man, I fucking hate you.
Yeah. I mean, well,
I can't do better than that.
That was the thing, man, because I stopped, when I stopped going to the store, it was because I just had stopped doing comedy. He was still running the show, right?
Of course.
Look, as horrible as a lot of people felt his regime was, he did give me a lot of spots. He did.
Look, he passed me.
Yeah. Oh, he passed you. Okay.
Yeah. It was begrudging. He did not want to do it, but it was kind of like, dude, you clearly know.
Yeah.
That I'm deserving of those spots. And it got to the point where
you said, let's do this fucking shit.
He didn't like me because Ari and Rick and Tripoli and a couple other guys, unbeknownst to me, all individually went up to Tommy before I lived in Los Angeles and was like, you need to see this guy. He's really funny.
Yeah.
And which to this day, I thank them because it's a nice vote of confidence early on.
Right.
Because a lot of guys come down big league you, and I get it.
Sure.
So he didn't get to anoint me in his eyes. So I was never his guy.
He got that shit from fucking him trying to be Mitzi.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's if Mitzi didn't find. I mean, poor Steve Simone. Steve Simone's one of the funniest fucking guys out there, and he was driving her around, and just so she wouldn't pass him. I was lucky enough that I got passed by her. Because
it makes a difference.
Makes a difference. So like for him, so she was like. I've told the story about getting past, and being able. It was just a different time back then. Like I would go up on the way that they had it was August was when I started showcasing there. I got passed in November, right?
Because, that's not bad.
Well, I mean, at the time I didn't know what it was. I remember going up there because Brett Ernst had recommended me.
Okay,
and so I get up there because. I don't know how they do it now, but it was on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday were the audition days, were the showcase days, right? So you start out with there's depending on the levels that you're at, you're 3, 7, and 10 were the minutes that you get depending on the phases that you got to, and I was doing it, I was going, and Mitzi saw me, she said, come back, do the 7. It was great. So then I remember the story I tell. I can't remember this fucking guy's name, and I just always use him as an example. She wasn't coming to the club for a little bit, but you still could go up in those 3 days. So I was going up at the store every Sunday.
Why not? It's Tuesday. Free stage time.
100%.
Yeah.
And I remember this guy. He goes, I'm not going up tonight. A lot of us are just going to go. We're going to go.
Great, go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean? And
yeah.
She's not going to be here for a while. We're going to come back when we know she's going to be here. I'm like. That's fucking stupid.
Well, who knows if she's ever gonna? If she's not here now, the chances of her showing later are slim to none.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Then the other part of it is you got a shot to perform at the Comedy Store 3 nights a fucking week when a lot of these regulars don't get to do that.
No.
And then I remember Ari Shafir, who came into me after it because I was out of that whole class of people. I think it was either myself and one other person or just me. I can't remember. And Ari's like, one of the main reasons you got passed because you were fucking hanging out all the time.
Yeah, makes a difference.
It's massive because you learn the idea of the fucking club.
Well, and the store is very who the fuck are you?
Right.
And I love that about the store. It's I got to fucking know you before I trust you. I remember that there was there are cycles where you see the same patterns of individuals come through.
Yeah.
And there was the overeager open micer who was showing up, wanted to be buddy-buddy from day one.
Right.
And he figured out the rules a little bit early on, so he started showing up like Monday nights super late and parking in the lot. And there were so few cars in the lot that more often than not, the lot attendant was just another open micer as well. Wouldn't stand up to him.
Right.
Just wouldn't say no. And the rest of us that would give a shit was just like, it's not worth it.
Right.
And one night his car got hit by Don's head of security, just plowed into the side of it on accident. Yeah. Dude walking around with a fake earpiece and sunglasses. Hilarious. Don's head of security. You got to know Don Barris. Look him up.
So funny.
And he came up to us and we were on the front patio and he's like, dude, such and such just hit my car. Like, what are we going to do about it? And we all went, well, are you allowed to park in the lot? Because if not, I don't think you have much of a leg to stand on here. Right. And he was like, and he just stormed off, went in the back and like, bro, what
are you going to do?
You're not one of us.
No, there's rules. That club especially, there are fucking rules. And it's like, that's also I mean, I went back, I don't know, it's like in July, I was there just to stop by and I always, and still today, and I'm regular at the club, and I don't just walk in there with my fucking chest puffed out of not being there forever. I walk up and I'm just like, I introduce myself to the door guys, and they're always very respectful. Ellis is always, it's Ellis. He's the nicest guy in the world, and he looks at me, he's like, he's regular here. He's telling people, and then the second they know, they're like, oh, okay, it's like a badge of honor when you do it because it's like well,
that's what they're trying to do more often than not. Yeah, the guys that are working, although they have actual security now.
Do they finally?
Well, they sell out every show.
Yeah, I know. They're crushing now.
So they need real security as opposed to just paying comics to run the door, seat people, be your security.
It was a college. It was
clean tables.
That's how it was. Like, that's how I met. And speaking of Rick Ingram, so Ingram and I, because I was one of the, I think to this day, maybe the only person ever to do this, is most people would
not steal when you worked at the booth.
Maybe the second person, maybe the only person. I did not steal when I was there, but because this is the reason why. I think one of the reasons why was that most people, as you said, what they want to do is when you're working at the door, you want to become a regular there.
Yeah.
I may have been the only person, maybe in the history, that became a regular and then started working there. Because
not getting spots or
because I wanted to get extra spots. That was my idea.
She would still give you.
I got employee spots plus regular spots.
Because the rule for the longest time was once I pass you, you can't work here anymore. But even that was like a gray area type of, if you needed a job still for a little while, that was fine.
Yeah, no, not back then. Not back.
She wasn't. She was on the tail end of her actually coming around,
and she wasn't even really there. It was Dean that was doing it. And,
Bro,
yeah, right. And because of that, if you talk to Ingram about it, the worst Comedy Store employee of all time, because I didn't.
What motivation do you have?
Except those spots. As long as I got the spots, and like. Ingram always tells the story.
Well, you would disappear, weren't you? Wasn't that your MO? Yeah, just gone for 4 hours. I've heard that from him before.
He's like, I'll be there with Harloff, and we smoke a bowl in the back. And then I go, oh, there goes Harloff. He's driving off the lot in the middle of it. And I remember one time, that awning with that ladder, like how no one died going up that ladder. Yeah. And people are
going, a lot of those stories.
A lot of those. And then Dean's like, you got to change the awning tonight. I go, nah, I'm afraid of heights. He goes, get the fuck out of here. I go, I'm afraid of heights. He goes, are you really? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, fine. He said, Harloff can't change it because he's afraid of heights. That's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, who gives a flying? There is no motivation. When I moved here, Ren It's Easy was like, are you going to work here? And I'm like, dude, I'm done working for this place.
Yeah.
I'm good. I did it for 4 years.
That was it. Yeah,
I'm good. I moved here for a clean slate. Like, I know all you guys, but I'm just done working at a club.
I did it to hang out, and I already had spots. And
by the time I moved here, I already knew everybody.
Right.
So it didn't really matter. Yeah. I didn't know the young guys.
Right.
But that's fine. You'll get to know them in time. I still hung out. I was there for the first few years I lived here. I was there 5-6 nights a week every week.
Right. Yeah, me too. For a while.
Yeah. I go do spots elsewhere and be like, all right, well, I'm going to go hang out at the store.
Have you been going up a lot lately?
Sporadically.
It's kind of like what I got back into.
Pandemic didn't help my inherent laziness as I get older.
Yeah.
And now that I get, that I've got my shots and all that, I should be getting out more, but I haven't kicked myself in the ass enough.
I did because I had been off. I finally gotten that fucking, I don't know what it was. It took a long time, but the beast kind of woke up a little bit, and it's like, and I got back on stage in New York, and I've been doing like flappers for a bit. I haven't done the store yet. But
God, I haven't done flappers in so long.
I had never done it before because it didn't exist when I was here.
Oh, okay.
And then I was supposed to do a show, tonight when this comes out. But I just couldn't wind up doing it. But I've been trying to go up at least once a month right now. That's my goal.
To start?
It's a start. And then when it starts to get, hopefully, we've been saying this for God knows how long, when it gets a little better out there, I'm going to start going to the store, at least try to go once a week. That's my deal. That's my goal.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know, hesitant with the sanitation aspects of it, or the cleanliness.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that kills me, because
I know.
One thing the pandemic has taught me is I didn't realize I knew as many wackadoo comics as I did.
There's a lot.
And now a lot of those people are still getting spots.
Yeah. It's just the fucking world sucks.
I already knew some of them.
I know.
I already knew. So then when this goes all south, it's like, well, that's to be what did you expect in this situation? It's the other ones where I'm like, you were normal.
But what happened?
And yeah, now you have I guess too much time alone.
That's exactly what it is. It's like what has been going on in here for fucking 2 years, and it's either it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So a few of them, it's like, okay,
yeah,
I don't know about that,
but yeah, it's so going back. I'll be going back for sure. It's good to get back into it. But your show once again. So let people know they can find it on YouTube. You can find it on anywhere podcast,
Apple, Spotify,
everywhere,
all that jazz.
So what's the goal? Is this the one you're putting all the? Are you guys still doing top 10?
No, we're still doing top 10,
okay.
But I figured this audience knows about top 10.
Sure.
Been with it, whether or not they know about Settle the Score, to come on. Still doing top 10.
Okay, yeah.
And if you want basketball, NBA action,
yeah,
I do that on Wednesday. Settle the Score comes out on Thursday, but Wednesday it's live, and I talk NBA.
Were you able to get the Dropping Dimes name, or that was?
Yeah, I just text Marcus like, you give a shit, and he's like, no.
No, he was the same way. That's why I turned Jedi Council into Sith Council.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same shit.
Although he sold it, but when I left and he still owned it, I was like, do you care? He's like, no, not at all. And then I asked him, I was like, you want to come on? He's like, dude, I've watched 3 games. I'm like,
yeah. He's just living on a boat right now.
Yeah, whatever.
He's living his life. He's got
good for him. I always liked Mark.
Mark was great to me.
Yeah.
Mark still is. I still talk to him. He's doing great. All right, listen, this is Matt Knost. It was good to have you on, man. We got to do it again. For sure.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll do it again. Please go check out that show. It is Settle the Score. It is the great Matt Knost. And we're excited once again, guys. If you didn't get a chance to, please go on over and check out the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Remember, my review of Spider-Man, it's up right now. The spoiler review will be up probably on Saturday. And then we got Matrix coming out. We got so much stuff. We got Kingsman review coming out also. So all that stuff, guys, please check it out. And join us on Friday where we're doing the rewatch of Matrix Reloaded with myself, Coy, and Kate. So thank you. Appreciate you. We'll see you really, really soon. And once again, follow Matt Knost on Twitter. And we'll check you out later. Bye.